Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
It's the house!
Well, looks like Chloe and Blue. Blue's just chilling out. Yeah, kind of just sits like that most of the day. Trying to figure out, I don't know. Who knows when we'll have to put them to sleep or whatever you call it. It's just hard to picture doing it. Hey, how's it going? Man, I put up this video earlier today on the Delphi case, and it got like 1,000 total views. I mean, that's only because it's not making it in front of somebody to click on it. You know, very strange. So that was a complete dud. It was almost like making a video on a case that nobody's ever heard of in their life, and I get that many views. So I have no idea what happened there. Just absolutely fell off the planet. Just right out of the chute, I could tell. I just thought it was interesting. I don't know if it was, great. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, they're all kind of the same, like Richard Allen, in the what's her name, Jocelyn Nungari case. Let's see, Molly Tibbetts. It's incredible. They got these people these guys are stalking women. It's sort of interesting. Is that like something that's acceptable elsewhere or something? I don't really get it, but there are natural people that are in the US that actually do that too. But like I'm saying, every single time it happens by an illegal alien, that's one that shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have been here to do it. And so it's like a complete, like an unforced error. Ridiculous. What was the other one I was thinking of? Who was the one that was fall down that trail and the same guy did something in Los Angeles? I had her name in my head earlier. What was her name? He was on video in Los Angeles. Yeah, Morin. So those are all the same, right? Like identical. And that guy is just like the guy that killed Rachel Morin is exactly like Jose Ibarra. Same exact person. Multiple offense. I bet you anything, if you could go back and get see what he was doing. He's killed people in Venezuela, and probably on the trip over here on the trail, probably killed multiple people. That guy's just a killer. That's all that guy is. There's no redeeming quality of any kind. Nothing where you can, feels like the light color is weird or something in here. Yeah. That's what I always tell people. I think it's weird when people argue against that. The thing that that's the entire point of people talking about illegal aliens, is that any crime committed by an illegal alien is one that should not have happened and wouldn't have happened if they weren't allowed into the country. Okay, everybody should just sort of get that. You know, if you had vetted them. A lot of them are like career criminals. And you know what's interesting is what, you know, unfortunately for the people who don't like him, but that's what Trump said on his first term. He said, they're not sending their best. They're sending murderers and, you know, and killers. And now we got these numbers to back it up. 12,099 actual murderers have come over the border. And like 400,000 assaults. And it's just, it's insane, you guys. Now, you know, obviously the vast majority of the people are normal, you know, like just trying to make a better life for themselves, etc. But that doesn't matter. You know, if you're letting in horrible people, you can't allow anybody in unless you're actually vetting and know exactly who you have coming in. That's what everybody says. It's weird how it's so hard for people to get. But I don't know. I think I'm in one of those shadow banning moments now on YouTube for who knows what reason, you know. 161 people when you have 151,000 subscribers. Does that make any sense to anybody? Anybody at all? I have no idea. Makes no sense. I mean, it's ridiculous, you know? What are they doing? Sometimes I just want to quit this whole damn thing. I'm sick of it. You know, I work hard, I try to do something, and hardly get anybody. You know, especially if you're not showing, if it's not one of the big cases going on or something, you can just forget it. Yeah, everyone says they don't get notifications. Did you hit the notification bell and select all videos? I actually checked the other day. Like 8% of the people that are subscribed to my channel have the notification bell selected. So that means you didn't do it, most of you. You got to hit the notification bell and all videos, just like my intro shows. You know, it's... I don't know. It's like, I don't know, swimming upstream or something. Really, really frustrating. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's what it feels like. And, you know, the support for the channel dwindles some nights. It just gets... This month has been pretty good, but the last 4 or 5 days we're back to, like, having to ask over and over and over just to try to make it work. I try to make the videos, right, you guys? I try to put out videos to make up the difference. And when you get a video that gets 1,000 views, that might bring in $8, okay? Maybe. So it's like you have to have like 20,000 views or something, then it starts working where it kind of makes up for the difference. And when that, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I'm just telling you the reality of it. Yeah, you just show up every night, yeah. Well, I show up too, but if you're showing up every night and you get 166 people watching, is it worth doing the shows? That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're not talking about drama, you get 166 people. I appreciate all the 166 that showed up, but don't you see how that could be frustrating? When these other people that put out information that's not even well thought out or interesting, they get like 5,000, 6,000. Freaking sucks, you know. Anyways, I'm just gonna get moving on here. Thanks, Jay Lizard. I'm just going to read there's a couple updates on the Hanna Kobayashi deal. Yeah, if the bed was the same color, you wouldn't be able to see her. Chloe. Let's see. The Los Angeles Police Department confirms it is investigating a Maui woman's disappearance. Now that one says the 15th. That's not the one I was looking for. I think there's just one page here. The search continues for a missing woman presumed to be in Los Angeles as her family holds out hope more than a week since her disappearance. 31, Hanna Kobayashi, 31, was last heard from November 11th after she had missed a connecting flight from Maui to New York City at Los Angeles International Airport. Laurie Pigeon, Kobayashi's aunt, previously told USA Today that the family was alarmed when they received texts from Kobayashi that were out of character. Pigeon elaborated in the interview Tuesday night that odd phrases and lack of emojis. See, we hadn't heard that. Like that, you know, there's people that put emojis all the time. You know, like KK. And how Danielle used to do. None of them have a single emoji. I know that sounds like a small detail, but to us, that's huge, Pigeon said. Even though she was in contact with us, she wasn't in contact with us in her right mind. Screenshots shared with USA Today show Kobayashi sending messages on November 11th that read, OMW to the airport. I have a safe passage and Matrix style. I'm safe. For the good of all, I will keep you posted. Hey, thanks, Lisa Noir 23. Appreciate your hard work, Ray. You have a following that loves you, and you're... Yeah, I know. I mean, I get it. You know, I understand. I have people that follow and watch the show, but I don't understand when you have 152,000 subscribers, how you have 180. Now is there 186? Does that make any sense? Even, I mean, just you would accidentally get 1,000, right? Or even a video. Wouldn't a video accidentally get like... Alright. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate everybody that shows up. It just seems really strange, you know. What does that mean, Alexander? Let's see. Kathy Freidenmaker. Thank you. Let's see. The family is organizing a volunteer canvass this week in the area near where Kobayashi was last seen. Pigeon called the effort by volunteers in Los Angeles super heartwarming. Los Angeles is coming out of the woodwork to help us, Pigeon said. She might have been lost in L.A., but L.A. is trying to find her. I guess we could just go over this. November 8th, Kobayashi misses a connecting flight. Oh yeah, and it turns out her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, was on the flight with her because they had bought the tickets while they were still dating, but broke up before the flight, and somehow, like, wouldn't one of you just not go on the trip at that point? I mean, anyways, they both flew to Los Angeles, but he made the connecting flight. So he made it to New York, so that seems like, I mean, he can't be involved unless he, you know, sets something up on the side or whatever. Anyways, Kobayashi misses a connecting flight from Maui to New York City at Los Angeles International Airport. She's seen on airport security camera. We've seen those pictures. And leaves the airport wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, tie-dye leggings, and a dark green backpack. November 9th, Kobayashi is seen by employees at the Taschen bookstore at the Grove Shopping Center in the Fairfax district of Los Angeles around noon. November 10th, Kobayashi is again seen at the Grove, this time on video at Nike event at 3:40. She posts a photo from the event to her Instagram the same day. On November 11th, Kobayashi returns to LAX but does not board a flight, according to the family, citing airport staffers. Her phone, which has an Audrey Hepburn case, was last pinged at LAX but has not been found. Pigeon told USA Today Tuesday that Kobayashi spoke to an American Airlines ticketing agent between 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. USA Today reached out to the American Airlines and did not immediately receive a response. Kobayashi is then seen on surveillance cameras near the Pico Metro station in downtown Los Angeles around 10 p.m. See, I told you that earlier ping by that station was before. Here, let's see where that is. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, because remember she was seen right here on November 11th? So this was before, because later in the night at 10 p.m., she was seen right down here. I don't know if that was the... You know, the dates they have all over the place, so I don't know. But that one says the 10th, but obviously it was the 11th because it's underneath the 11th. Kobayashi is then seen on surveillance cameras near the Pico metro station in downtown Los Angeles around 10 p.m. Pigeon told USA Today Sunday in conjunction with the family releasing a statement. The family said in the statement that it is evident that Hanna does not appear to be in good condition and she's not alone. They didn't elaborate. The metro station is near Crypto.com area and serves the A and E lines of the Los Angeles Metro. Kobayashi's family files missing person report. She's also, I guess the FBI's got a report now too, so hopefully that helps. Yeah. So I don't know. This is a crazy one. They're not giving a lot of information though to get people to still be able to talk about it and get her name out there more. You got to always keep putting out information. I guess they have a guy in the picture and they're not showing that because maybe they're looking for that person. I don't know. What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, what do you mean posted and removed at the airport? I have the pictures. Are those ones that they don't want out there now or something? Or I mean, is there different ones? Because I don't see those. I just have the ones that I have at the airport, like 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, I tried. Well, I left you messages today, but you didn't respond to them. I'm just going to go over my newspaper articles and those PDF files you sent. All right. I think that'd be good. I was just going to go over that next. I was just doing this first as an update. That's my father's alibi. I tried calling her twice. What do you mean they don't want them posted? Who said that they didn't want them posted? What do you mean? I don't get it. I mean, I don't know why they removed them, but I mean, who said that they don't want them posted? Yeah. All right. Anyways, I think that's. I don't have much more to go with on that. All right. I'm sure they have tons and tons of video surveillance. I bet you the police have already they're tracking the guy that was with her and they're getting to the right place. You know, they're just doing their own thing. They're way ahead of us on this one, I think. Because the family isn't sharing much. And so then it's like, okay, at that point then law enforcement's way ahead and we're not going to be able to get caught up. But yeah, but why do they care about those images? I've got all those images. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, like that one right there. We got this one. This one. You know. Why do they care? Is there somebody in these or what? I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't want you to see those. Yeah, they don't want that guy's picture out there, but he knows, right? I mean, if you read the articles, it would say, yeah, she was seen with this guy, and then that person would know that that's him. So he knows that law enforcement knows. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got. All right, I'm going to move on to something else. And if you guys don't want to hear about this case, it's Nancy Galvani, who's actually the mother of, I always have a hard time remembering how to say it, My Father's Alibi, in the chat there. Alright, so I went and found all these old newspaper articles back in the day. You know, this is 1982. Alright, but don't forget to help support the channel tonight, you guys. Need your help. We got crushed on the video that would help augment it, so alright. Hey, thanks Tina G. Alright, so here's some original articles. It's always harder to find the ones before there's a name, you know, but I found it. So this is in San Francisco. Well, it's actually, like it says, Foster City is where this was, but this is the San Francisco newspaper. August 10th, 1982. Thanks, Allie, Cake, and Tina. But why do they? There's nobody in the backgrounds of those pictures that makes any difference. It's just stupid that they're blocking them out. But let's move on to this case now, you guys. All right. Body of woman found in sleeping bag in bay. The nude body of an unidentified woman was found floating in San Francisco Bay off the San Mateo Bridge late yesterday. The body was zipped in a sleeping bag, weighted with a concrete block. That's like that Tina, what was that one case we did? Tina something, can't remember. The body was zipped in a sleeping bag, weighted with a concrete block. The woman's ankles were tied with white boating line, according to Foster City Police. The block was tied around the bag at the woman's waist. So let's see, it was a concrete block, the woman's ankles. So floating in San Francisco Bay off the San Mateo Bridge. There. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Michelle H. Is this the San Mateo Bridge? Might be that one. That's it right there. So, you know, she was found in the water, just kind of somewhere in this area. You know, I don't know exactly where at this point. Welcome, Mia Wallace. Let's see. So San Mateo Bridge. The body was zipped in a sleeping bag, weighted with a concrete block. The woman's ankles were tied with white boating line. The block was tied around the bag, the sleeping bag, at the woman's waist. Man, that's just like something out of a horror movie. It's crazy. Let's see. On the Foster City side. Foster City, I think that's where my where I used to work, or someplace around there. I mean, I didn't have to go to the office, though, but... Okay, yeah, I had it on that side. See? Just luck, but... County coroner officials said today the woman had strangulation marks on her throat. There were no apparent stab marks or gunshot wounds. The woman, said to be 28 to 40 years old, had been in the water up to 2 days. Sorry for I just had my stomach go. Water up to 2 days, according to Foster City Police. Chief John J. Norton I guess, said that. And then it says the barely submerged body was found where the high-rise section of the bridge dips at the east bay side. The high-rise section, what does that mean? The high-rise section. So it sounds like it's on this side. Foster City's over here, but where the high-rise section of the bridge dips. I guess I don't know what that means. Let's take a look. I actually remember driving over this. that's funny. What shitty traffic that is. Crazy. Now let me just go through the story, all right? Yeah, I'm sure that's in the later articles, all right? We're just trying to get through the way I have it. What does that mean, the high-rise section? 1982. The high-rise section. I guess it doesn't really matter. Just somewhere in here, I guess. But they said on the east side of the bay, though. I don't really... That would be over here. Dips at the east bay side, where it dips. The 5'7" woman with reddish brown hair weighed about 160 pounds. There were no identifying marks on the body. Foster City police are checking the woman's fingerprints with the FBI and with authorities in Sacramento. She's saying that the sleeping bag she was bound in had been in the trunk of her car. Foster City police are checking the woman's fingerprints with the FBI and with authorities in Sacramento because the woman was found south of the bridge. I even guessed that accidentally. Police theorize she was dumped from the eastbound vehicle, and eastbound traffic turnout is located near where the body was found. Eastbound traffic turnout. So I think it was over here, the way they're saying it. I think she was found like over there, not on the Foster City side. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's different, but they worded it like it was on the east side of something. But I don't know, maybe there's a turnout over here, maybe. Oh, where you could... What is that? Oh, weird. What's this extra little... What's that thing? That's crazy. Weird. Why would you have a road like that? That must have been like the old bridge or something. Oh, it's a fishing pier. Interesting. Right, but we don't know any of that yet. My father's alibi. So that's what I'm saying. I want to be able to go through the story where I'm just reading it to people, all right? We don't know where she was killed. I don't know. I'm just going to keep it over here. It sounds like it was supposed to be on the east side, but I don't know. The body was discovered by fishermen, so that would make sense. Those people... come on, Zos. I just started doing this just now, you guys. I'm on the first article when they found a body in the water with no name associated with it. Yeah, so it must have been right where that fishing pier is. All right, here's another one. Bay corpse was strangling victim. An autopsy has revealed that strangulation killed the woman whose nude body was found floating in San Francisco Bay in a sleeping bag weighted with a concrete block. The woman may have been strangled by hand or by a length of white 1/2 inch boating rope of the type that was also tied around her waist, apparently as a handhold, Foster City Police said. A length of similar boating line was tied around the foot of the zipped green sleeping bag. A concrete construction block was tied to the woman's waist. Police were unable to establish the woman's identity yesterday. They expect results of fingerprint checks with the FBI and the State Department of Justice today. The autopsy showed that the woman suffered a broken neck and was bludgeoned on the left side of her head. She also sustained wounds on her left hand that may have been caused when she tried to defend herself. So defensive wounds. She was hit on the side of the head. I mean, it sounds horrible. Almost sounds like a Mercedes Vega kind of a little bit. Authorities who said the woman was not sexually assaulted believe that she was killed late Sunday evening or before dawn Monday, and that her body was dumped into the bay from the San Mateo Bridge. The body was found late Monday afternoon by fishermen near a point on the eastern end of the bridge. Okay, so it's not on the it wasn't in the Foster City side. My father's alibi. You got the wrong side. It's over here. Alright, that said, an emergency turnout is nearby on the bridge. Let me make sure though. Hold on. Yeah, that's correct. Emergency turnout is nearby on the bridge eastbound lanes, and police suspect the body was dumped from the vehicle traveling from San Mateo to the East Bay. So emergency turnout. Where is that? I don't know, that's way in there. I don't know. That's weird. Maybe it was right here at one point. Where you could... Actually, let's see if I can go back. Let's see what it looks like in like 1993. I'm gonna turn off roads. I don't know where the little turnout is, but it's over there. An emergency turnout is nearby on the bridge eastbound lanes. Eastbound lanes. Okay. The body was found Monday by fishermen near a point on the eastern end of the bridge. Right. An emergency turnout is nearby on the bridge. And then the blue-eyed woman with reddish-brown hair was described by police as about 35 years old, 5'6" and about 140 pounds. Her fingernails and toenails were painted bright red. Police have asked that anyone who may be able to help identify the woman or who may have seen a vehicle in the San Mateo Bridge emergency turnout contact Sergeant John T. Karamis. Says last December, a woman was found shot to death on the bridge in a case that has not been solved. Authorities have no evidence linking the December killing with the woman whose body was found in the bay. In the December 10th case, Denise Evanchik was shot 5 times while riding in a car westbound on the bridge. The vehicle in which Evanchik was riding was involved in a one-car accident on the bridge. How did that happen? So she was shot from outside the car or something? When another motorist stopped to give assistance after that accident, the driver of the Evanchik car fled. Okay. The scene in the vehicle that stopped for help. That's kind of weird. I wonder whatever happened to that one. Alright guys, Written Creamed again tonight. We are at 20% of a goal, so if you're able to help support the channel, even on these lesser cases, I would appreciate it. You know, the ones that people don't seem to want to follow. I think they're all interesting. But that true crime community on YouTube has sort of relegated us to doing the popular ones. And I want to be able to keep covering these. So, San Francisco business executive faces arraignment in death of his wife. A man, so it's kind of weird. It's like this is one day later. A management consultant faces an arraignment today following his arrest on suspicion of murdering his wife and dumping her nude body in the San Francisco Bay. Police said Patrick Vincent Galvani, 39, is being held for the slaying of his estranged wife, Patricia. Mrs. Galvani's body wrapped in a sleeping bag washed up on the shore in Foster City last week. And then it says, a 6-hour search of an apartment the couple once shared with their 5-year-old daughter turned up evidence linking, a 6-hour search of an apartment the couple once shared with their 5-year-old daughter turned up evidence linking Galvani to the slaying, police spokesman Baron Mueller said. Well, that's pretty dumb on his part, right? And then there wasn't really much in there. And then there's this one. Husband reports wife missing after body found in Bay. 3 days after Nancy Patricia Galvani's body was found floating in the bay near the San Mateo Bridge, her estranged husband, who had since been arrested for investigation of the slaying, filed a missing person report with San Francisco police. Foster City police, who are in charge of the investigation into the murder of the 36-year-old woman, said her husband, Patrick, made the report to Northern Police Station on Ellis Street and Van Ness Avenue at 11 a.m. last Thursday. Let's see. Her husband, Patrick, made the report to Northern Police Station. Okay, they're just saying where the police station is. Who cares where the... Her body was found August 9th, zipped into a sleeping bag, bruises around her neck, indicating she had been strangled. 6 days later... Hold on. Hold on. I can tell. Six days later, Patrick Galvani, described by friends as a quiet computer analyst, was arrested for an investigation of killing his wife of 8 years. He was arrested after police searched his Pacific Heights Victorian Saturday. How old were you at the time? Oh, you were 5. I was just kind of wondering. So you were 5 years old. So he's your actual biological father then, right? 6 days later, Patrick Galvani, described by friends as a quiet computer analyst, was arrested for investigation of killing his wife of 8 years. He was arrested after police searched his Pacific Heights Victorian Saturday. Though she was no longer living in the Green Street home, her yellow Buick was found in the garage there. Police called it an important piece of evidence. We don't know what kind of mess this is, said a distraught Vincent Galvani, Patrick's father. The elder Galvani, speaking from his home in St. Paul, Minnesota, said his son was always mild-mannered and gentle. This is just the reverse of what you would expect, he said. Patrick wouldn't hurt a fly. The Galvanis were getting divorced, friends said. In July, Nancy had moved to Civic Center Residency Hotel at 44 McAllister Street. Let's see where that is. Come on, you guys. We're just really struggling tonight. Man, it's unreal. 2 nights in a row, just. Let me put this in here. It's right there. Well, yeah, of course, Zozo. Jeez. Couldn't be more obvious, just right off the bat. They've already arrested him, you know? Where was I? Buick was found in the garage. 6 days later, Patrick Galvani, described by friends as a quiet computer analyst, was arrested for investigation of killing his wife. Though she was no longer living in the Green Street home, her yellow Buick was found in the garage there. Ah, weird. Yeah, so her Buick was found in the at that apartment, so it's kind of like, why would her car be there, you know? Hey, thanks, Mia Wallace. We don't know what kind of mess this is, said a distraught Vincent Galvani, Patrick's father, the elder Galvani, speaking from his home. Let me read this part again. 6 days later, Patrick Galvani, described by friends as a quiet computer analyst, was arrested for investigation of killing his wife of 8 years. He was arrested after police searched his Pacific Heights Victorian on Saturday. Though she was no longer living out, so they were separated. She was living in an apartment, and then her car is at his house, so that must mean that she went there, or he took it there, you know, but it sounds more like she went there for a reason, you know, to talk or something, and then, you know, something happened, because there's no way her car would be in that house, right? I knew that was an important thing to read. The Galvanis were getting divorced, friends said. In July, Nancy had moved to the Civic Center Residency Hotel at 44 McAllister Street. So, right, there wouldn't be any reason for her car to be over at his house unless she was visiting him, and then she went missing after visiting him. And, as we saw earlier, her sleeping bag was in her car, and so, which is at, you know, so her car was at her father's house. I mean, let's see, hold on. Her mother's car was at her father's house, or I guess her mother's was at her husband's house, the car. So that means that the sleeping bag was taken out of that vehicle and wrapped around her and then driven to the bay and dumped into the water. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah. In keeping with the arraignment, Nancy told friends at the hotel on August 8th that she had to drop off her child and would be right back. Okay, and then that must mean drop off my father's alibi at her dad's house. She drove off in her yellow 1973 Buick Apollo coupe. She never came back. Her naked body was discovered, I mean, it's so obvious, the story, the following day by 2 high school teachers fishing off the San Mateo Bridge. She remained unidentified until Friday, when 2 women who operate the Civic Center Hotel identified the brown-haired, blue-eyed victim as Nancy Galvani, mother of 5-year-old wife of Patrick Galvani. Foster City Police obtained a warrant to search the family's 2-story home at, here we go, 1871 Green Street. So she moved to there, and I don't know if, like, you guys were sharing, they were sharing custody or what the hell was going on there, but This is crazy. Every time you cut and paste something, it just 1871. Okay. So yeah, right there, and then she drove from here. Oh, not from there. She from here in her vehicle drove to there. Then something happened to her there, where she was wrapped up in the sleeping bag that was in the trunk of her car. Apparently, we don't know that. That's what she's telling us. And then the body, was obviously then driven to the bridge over here at some point, probably late at night, and dumped into the water. Although down here, actually. What bridge is this one? Is this one actually kind of almost, yeah. There's sort of a turnout, but that's another fishing pier there. Alright, so there you go. She drove off in her yellow 1973 Buick Apollo coupe. She never came back. Here, gotta save it. If you don't save it, you lose everything. Her naked body was discovered the following day by 2 high school teachers fishing off the San Mateo Bridge. She remained unidentified until Friday, when 2 women who operate the Civic Center Hotel identified the brown-haired, blue-eyed victim as Nancy Galvani, mother of 5-year-old wife of Patrick Galvani. Foster City Police obtained a warrant to search the family's 2-story home at 1871 Green Street here. During their 6-hour search for evidence Saturday, police found the yellow Buick in the garage. Took them 6 hours to find that yellow Buick. Galvani was arrested and taken to San Francisco City Prison. I mean, isn't that just enough circumstantially right there? I mean, there's some things circumstantially just tell the story. He was to be transferred today to the county jail in Redwood City and is scheduled for arraignment Wednesday in San Francisco Mateo County Municipal Court. What explanation could there possibly be that her car is over at his house and apparently a sleeping bag is missing from the trunk of her car, and somehow she ends up in the river over there? It just doesn't make any sense. In the bay, right? There's no other explanation other than he did it. According to San Mateo County Coroner reports, Nancy Galvani died of asphyxiation. She was battered on one side of the head and choked, possibly by hand, said Foster City Police spokesman Baron Moeller. A concrete block weighted down the sleeping bag that encased her body when it was pulled from the bay at the eastern end of San Mateo Bridge. Snug around her waist was a white boating line, a hand hold to help her killer pick up her body, police speculate. Her ankles were also bound, and there were rope burns and bruises around her neck, police said. And it says, Patrick Galvani's lawyer told today the 39-year-old San Francisco accountant will plead innocent to charges that he killed his wife and dumped her body trussed in a sleeping bag into the bay. San Mateo Municipal Judge Clarence Knight set Galvani's bail at $25,000 at the arraignment this morning. His lawyer, John Keeker, expected him to be released from the county jail in Redwood City this afternoon. Knight set a hearing for 11 a.m. Friday. The intended plea is not guilty, Keeker said. At the present time, the family is gathering around him. The family is in disbelief. Why would you gather around somebody when her car was found in his garage? This is a very circumstantial case. Well, yeah, it's an incredible circumstantial case. The nude body of Nancy Galvani, 36, who was estranged from her husband, was found floating. So they're estranged, and her vehicle's found in his garage. was found floating in the bay near San Mateo Bridge on August 9th. Police arrested Galvani at his Pacific Heights home Saturday, 2 days after he had filed a missing persons report on his wife. Police searching the Green Street property found her car in the garage just before she disappeared. Let's see. Police searching the Green Street property found her car in the garage just before she disappeared. What do you mean? That doesn't even make any sense. They wouldn't even been looking for her. Oh wait, she had told friends at a downtown hotel where she was staying that she had to drop off the couple's child, Allison, 5, with her father. Mrs. Galvani didn't return. Her husband, okay, before she was reported missing, right? Before she disappeared on August 8th. Why would police be searching the property before she disappeared? And I think they meant to say before she was reported. Hey, thanks Lisa Valenzuela and Vicky White. Her husband's lawyer said she had a history of mental disorder and earlier this year had committed herself to a hospital as a manic depressive. Right, so let's see. She's manic depressive, so she was able to hop down the street like you're having a potato sack race, but she had a sleeping bag on, was just hopping down the street for miles and miles, and then when she got there, she wrapped a heavy weight around the middle of herself, and then like choked herself out, and then did all these other things. Man, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Does that make any sense to anybody? It's so stupid. Thank you, Lisa Valenzuela and Vicky White. I really appreciate your support. All right, the next one. We're still on like August 20th now. Galvani pleads innocent. Patrick Galvani pleaded innocent today to charges that he murdered his wife and dumped her body in San Francisco Bay. Galvani entered his plea through his attorney, John Keeker. San Mateo Municipal Court Judge Frazel Shelton set a preliminary hearing in the case for October 18th. Galvani's lawyer whisked the slightly built 39-year-old computer manager away after the hearing. Galvani wore a gray business suit and answered in a deep, clear voice when the judge asked if he understood his legal rights. Galvani, who was free on $25,000 bail, attended a memorial service for his wife last night, said Keeker. At the hearing, Galvani's lawyer asked for access to the considerable evidence in the case, including vehicles belonging to the couple, which were to be examined by evidence specialists today. I mean, so the thing is that she has witnesses showing her drive her vehicle. She's leaving with her child to go to his house, and then they find her vehicle in his garage, and she ends up in the river. I think you could almost just have that information in court, and 9 out of 12 jury members, the 9 that have brains, would say that, oh yeah, he did it. How do you know, Gray? Maybe she went running. Okay, so she went running down the street because she was angry, and then the killer drove over to the husband's house, went into the garage really quick to grab the sleeping bag out of the trunk. Right? Does that make any sense to anybody? Man, this is one of those ones just stupid. Hey, thanks, Rosemary Romero. The arrest came after police found Nancy Galvani's yellow Buick in the garage of the couple's. As Rosemary said, thank you, Grant Hughes, for covering this case for justice for Nancy. Yeah, and actually for Allison, right? When I left the message, I said Nancy because I had it worded stupidly in my folder. And then I called back again and I said, wait, I meant to say. Yeah. Anyways, Galvani, who was free at the hearing, Galvani's lawyer asked for access to considerable evidence. The nude body of Nancy Galvani was found in the bay. Yeah, the arrest came after they found the yellow Buick in the garage of the couple's Pacific Heights residence. She had the vehicle when she was last seen alive. Right. And he's an estranged husband. And the vehicle is in his garage. And, I mean, what explanation did he have for that? Did anybody ever answer anything? Yeah, it is a little bit like Cheryl Coker. Patrick Galvani's lawyer have said Nancy Galvani had a history of mental illness and had once committed herself. All right. I'm just kind of going through in order here. The preliminary hearing, this is the one, August 21st, is set for October 18th. Patrick Galvani, 39, pleaded innocent Friday. The arrest came, okay, this is just repeated stuff here. Then we go, I don't see the October, I didn't see that one. But here it is. No murder trial for San Francisco man accusing of killing his wife. Patrick Galvani, a 39-year-old San Francisco accountant, will not be tried on charges of murdering his wife and dumping her body in San Francisco Bay. San Mateo County District Attorney Keith Sorensen has disclosed. We now have everything we believe can be obtained for trial, Sorensen said, on the basis of our experience and the standard of proof. What do you mean the standard of proof? The circumstantial evidence of her car being in the garage is enough, and that the fact that apparently jeez, this is stupid. Our experience and standard of proof required to convict a person of murder, we do not have sufficient evidence. Galvani, who learned of the decision Friday, was greatly relieved, said his attorney John Keeker, who has represented Galvani since the slight red-haired man was charged with the murder in August. Nancy Galvani's nude body, bundled in a sleeping bag, was discovered floating in the bay near San Mateo Bridge August 9th. The 36-year-old woman died by strangulation according to the coroner's office. Patrick Galvani, who was arrested at the couple's Pacific Heights home several days later, passed a lie detector test. Wow! To help demonstrate his innocence in the case, said Keeker. The attorneys, I think a lot of times they use those to just get themselves out of it. These cops, they don't have enough information, so they go, lie detector test, oh, yeah. They can tell you whatever they want on those things. The attorney said Galvani wants to meet with San Mateo County authorities in an effort to help solve the case. Keeker said Galvani can give investigators names of several possible suspects. Okay. They made the right decision, said Keeker. Patrick Galvani wants to find out who killed his wife. Right. So these people broke into the house and while she was there, just as she was there, and then went and grabbed her sleeping bag and then wrapped her. Sorensen's decision came over the public objection of the Foster City Police Department, which had jurisdiction. Foster City Police Chief John Norton said he will ask the state attorney general to prosecute Galvani or will seek reinstatement of the charges when district attorney, well, at least those guys had common sense. My detectives feel there is sufficient evidence implicating Galvani in the murder of his spouse. I bet you there's a whole bunch of, like, in the, I mean, I don't have all the files or whatever, but I bet you there's a whole bunch of other stuff in there, little circumstantial pieces of information. Foster City Police Chief John Norton said he will ask the state attorney general to prosecute Galvani. Okay, my detectives feel there is sufficient evidence implicating Galvani in the murder of his spouse, said Norton. We are at a loss to understand why it has been decided not to let a jury of his peers rule on the matter. Sorensen said, I'm not for a minute saying he is innocent or didn't do it. Instead, the district attorney said charges were dropped because he determined there was less than a 50% chance of convicting Galvani. Who cares? Jesus. Sorensen said he would not reveal details concerning the evidence or lack of it in the case. Authorities said earlier that Galvani was arrested after the car that his wife was last seen driving was found in the garage of the couple's house where Galvani lived. Don't you have like a whole bunch of the documents, like the discovery, My Father's Alibi? I think that'd be cool to look at that. Okay, we already read. Murder charges dropped. Then January 5th, 1983, her name was just mentioned in like a list of, what would it say, the courts. In December, San Mateo County District Attorney Keith Sorensen dropped the murder charges filed against Nancy Galvani's husband, 39-year-old Patrick. Well, send them on over. Scan them in so I can see them. My Father's Alibi. Daughter intent, and this is her right here. So this is a 2014 article. When Allison Galvani graduated from kindergarten in the summer of 1982, her mother took her to the musical Annie to celebrate. Then they went to the Golden State Park for a picnic. And by the way, while I'm reading this, guys, if you guys could please help support the channel. We're currently only at a third of a nightly goal, and I would appreciate it. Thank you. Her mother, Nancy Galvani, had just filed for divorce. Yeah, see, that's just so classic right there. And she and Allison, and he would have had to pay support and everything. He didn't want to do that. And she and Allison had moved into a residential hotel in the Tenderloin. Allison's father, Patrick Galvani, remained in the family's Victorian in Pacific Heights. I want to see what it looks like. Does he still live around here? I think it's that one. I mean, no, it's this one right here. The white one. Days after the picnic, fishermen found Nancy's body floating. Okay, let's see. Her mother, Nancy Galvani, had just filed for divorce. She and Allison had moved into a residential hotel in the Tenderloin. Allison's father, Patrick Galvani, remained in the family's Victorian in Pacific Heights. Days after the picnic, fishermen found Nancy's body floating in San Francisco Bay. She had been strangled and was wearing only underpants. Allison was 5. She remembers the arrival of the police officers. They swarmed the house. She saw her father handcuffed in the street and put into a police car. Then her father returned home and took her to Pier 39 to ride the carousel. She said she felt relieved and told him how much she loved him. Allison, now 37, said that over the years she developed fleeting suspicions about her father. In 2008, her father came to visit in Connecticut, where she teaches epidemiology at Yale University. So we got somebody in here that a brainiac, you know. I don't know. Do I have to like dance a jig for you guys to get you guys to support the channel tonight? Not sure what's going on. Yet again. In 2008, her father came to visit in Connecticut, where she teaches epidemiology at Yale University. She was a new mother. When her father held her infant daughter, she felt nauseated. She started an argument with him, ostensibly about walking the baby. Then she said, she blurted out, "You killed my mother." Nancy, a social worker, and Patrick, a computer programmer, had met in New York, married, and eventually settled in San Francisco. Both came from well-educated upper-middle-class family, and Allison was their only child. 2 months before her murder, Nancy, 36, applied for a restraining order against her husband, accusing him of punching her. See, I mean, this is just so classic. Accusing him of punching her and holding a pillow over her face. She told others he had tried to kill her and feared he would succeed if she got custody of Allison. There you go, man. Jeez. According to a private investigator's report prepared for Allison and an interview with one of the witnesses. Welcome, Mike Fitzpatrick. Patrick was arrested and formally charged with a murder, but San Mateo County prosecutors, the Foster City Police Department, took charges of the murder probe, or dropped charges. Let's see. No, it says police department took charge of the murder probe because the body was found in its jurisdiction. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Cheryl Bullock. Decided to drop the charges. Prosecutor Keith Sorensen, who has since died, told the San Francisco Examiner at the time that prosecutors concluded they had less than a 50% chance of winning a conviction. Well, maybe if you had better skill, you know. No witness had seen Patrick with his wife the night of the murder, and the case was terribly circumstantial. Yeah, but it was incredibly, terribly strong circumstantial. And retired San Mateo County Deputy District Attorney Al Giansani, who reviewed the evidence years later. Let's see. Terribly circumstantial, said retired San Mateo County Deputy District Attorney, who reviewed the evidence years later. A retired detective who worked on the case told the Los Angeles Times that some of the physical evidence had also been accidentally destroyed. Patrick, now 70, yeah, accidentally, with quotes on it, right? Patrick, now 70, did not respond to several attempts to reach him. John Keeker, his lawyer, told the Examiner at the time that Patrick had passed a lie detector test and wanted to help police find the true murderer. The turning point for Allison came after the accused... Yeah, so the turning point for Allison came... This is a woman in the chat here. The turning point for Allison came after she accused her father of murdering her mother. His denial struck her as odd, she said. He said, "It wasn't my fault." Wow. I mean, wouldn't that count in the, court? You know? She called the Foster City Police Department. The detective called Allison back and asked if she would be willing to cooperate in an investigation into her father. She hesitated, but eventually agreed to it. Because the investigation remains open, Foster City Police refused to discuss the case. In December of 2010, Allison filed a wrongful death lawsuit against her father. But a federal appeals court ruled in November of last year that Allison had filed her wrongful death lawsuit too late. Under California law, she should have sued him within 2 years of first becoming suspicious. Jeez. The court decided the 2-year statute of limitations began when she accused her father of murder in early 2008. She said she hopes new information uncovered by investigators. See, that wrongful death lawsuit, I mean, couldn't somebody else file it and say they've just become suspicious? You know, like one of your relatives go, "You know what, I'm suspicious now." And then there's 2 years from there. Hey, thanks, Jenny and the Summer Day. Thank you, Gray, for your coverage of Hanna Kobayashi arriving late. Oh, no problem, no problem. She said she hopes new information uncovered by investigators will persuade San Francisco prosecutors to bring charges. I think that's a huge thing. You didn't happen to record that when he said that, did you? I mean, it doesn't really matter, you know. It wasn't my fault. Yeah. And then there's another one. I mean, it's just mentioned in this list here. What is this? Just a criminal, just has her name in there. Foster City, 8/9/1972, probably unsolved. Asphyxiation, found by fishermen in the near. This is one of those cases. You know what this case is right here? Investigators are not looking for some other person. In fact, but like this is just like Richard Allen's case. So if this case had gone to trial, and this guy was found not guilty, they never would have investigated it again because he is the guy. All right, there's no doubt about it. Oh yeah, can I hear it? You got to send me all this stuff so I can take a look at it. I mean, is it stuff that you can share, or do you have to like keep it? I guess this is like something that you put together for a interview, maybe. Let's see what this says. The two most significant pieces of evidence that were not known and or appreciated by investigating police in 1982 were the location of Allison Galvani on the night of the murder, not at the scene of the murder, and the movement of Nancy Galvani's car after the time of death, between locations controlled exclusively by Pat Galvani. Yeah, so was this car driving around that... Did he use her car to dump her body? Patrick and Nancy Galvani owned the house at 1871 Green Street. However, they occupied only one floor, a relatively small apartment. Allison was staying with her father at the 1871 address on the weekend of August 7th. Let's see. A relatively small apartment. Allison was staying... Oh yeah, so you were dropped off with her father at 1871 address on the weekend of August 7th through 8th, 1982. Her mother, Nancy Galvani, was scheduled to pick up Allison. Okay, I thought she was driving you there, but I guess she was coming to pick you up. Her mother, Nancy Galvani, was scheduled to pick up Allison from 1871 Green Street on the morning of Monday, August 9th. Since Nancy did not pick up Allison on the evening of August 8th and was murdered during the night of August 8th and 9th, investigating police assumed that Allison must have been at the residence on 1871 Green Street on the night of August 8th. Let's try to figure this out. Like, what are they talking about? Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. Patrick and Nancy Galvani owned the house at 1871. However, they occupied only one floor, a relatively small apartment. Allison was staying with her father at 1871 address on the weekend of August 7th through the 8th. Her mother, Nancy Galvani, was scheduled to pick up Allison at that address on Monday morning, or street on the morning of Monday, August 9th. Since Nancy did not pick up Allison on the evening of August 8th and was murdered during the night of August 8th and 9th, investigating... I mean, why did she go there earlier, I guess? How come she went there on the night of the 8th and not just going there on the 9th? Or did somebody go over to his house, her house, and get her from there? And I don't know. Since Nancy did not pick up Allison on the evening of August 8th and was murdered during the night of August, like early, late at night on the 8th or early morning hours of the 9th, investigating police assumed that Allison must have been at the residence on 1871 Green Street on the night of August 8th, so early. If the murder was committed at that address, Allison would therefore have been in the same apartment at the time of the murder. I'm not sure what they're saying here. That's just it's like totally off, different. I mean, is this okay? I guess that's an apartment. 1871 right there, right? Hey, thanks, Sandy Shirley. However, unknown to police, Allison was not staying at the Green Street on the night of August 8th. Pat Galvani had deliberately taken her that day to stay with her uncle. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. So he didn't want her around. So, man, this is just so obvious. Man. So Pat Galvani had deliberately taken her that day to stay with her uncle Patrick Moriarty, living locally in San Francisco. Allison is believed to have never stayed with her uncle before, but of course that night he must have convinced her to come pick up Allison for some other reason, like, oh, hey, can you come up, convinced her to come over to the house for some reason on the 8th. And so she came over earlier, but he made sure that Allison wasn't at home so that whatever he did, she wouldn't be able to see it. Having got Allison out of the way, Patrick Galvani telephoned Nancy at here we go, 7:30, asking her to immediately pick up Allison. There you go. See how you guys, you just think logically. There it goes. Next paragraph. 7:30, asking her to immediately pick up Allison from 1871 a day earlier than scheduled. Both surviving Foster City police officers involved in the investigation have confirmed they believe Allison was at 1971 apartment on the night of the murder. Okay. Well, what do you mean, Allison? You were there too? I mean, why do they believe that? If you were moved, I thought you were over at your uncle's house. Both surviving Foster City officers involved in the investigation have confirmed they believed Allison was at the 1871 apartment. Oh, I see. That's something new. On the night of the murder. They had formulated scenarios how the murder might have been committed while Allison was asleep in the relatively small apartment. While Patrick Moriarty is now dead, Allison can testify directly as to her location on the night of the murder, and another family member is willing to testify about conversations with Pat Moriarty, where Pat Moriarty confirmed that Allison had been in his apartment on the night of the murder and that the police had failed to discover this. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's just a huge piece of circumstantial evidence right there. Hey, Rosemary, let me just go through the case the way I want to do it, okay? And then after I'm done, I'll likely have her come on again. I get it. I just want to do it the way I'm doing it, right? I'm just trying to figure it out myself. It's weird how people always try to get me to... I get it, you guys. We'll probably do another show, but I want to see the other information, the files, and the audio recordings and stuff. Jeez, I know that she's in there. I tried calling her today. All right, so now I'm just doing it. Wow. Anyways, both surviving Foster City police officers. Okay, while Moriarty is now dead, Allison can testify. So I guess there's people that can prove that she was at that house that night. There are multiple testimony accounts that Patrick Galvani requested Nancy Galvani to come to 1871. So there are multiple testimony accounts that Patrick, the father of Allison, requested Nancy to come to his house on Sunday evening to pick up Allison, which should be the 8th. According to Nell Tanner, on Sunday, August 8th, Patrick called Nancy requesting she pick up Allison at approximately 8 p.m., giving an excuse that he had to fly on business that midnight. Nancy expressed frustration at this change in plans since she had organized a party at the hotel that evening. Let's see, Howard something Histed reported, or that's his name, I guess. Howard Histed reported seeing Nancy leave the hotel after she told him Patrick had asked her to pick up Allison. Okay, so you got a couple witnesses there. Let's see. And the next one is on August 13th. FCPD interviewed Civic Center resident tenant Melody Mills. Melody Mills stated that Nancy told her Patrick called her requesting she pick up Allison on Sunday at 8 p.m. rather than Monday morning because he had to fly at midnight on business. Mills recalled being in the residence lobby at approximately 7:30 p.m. with Michael Herses or something like that, Diane Nason, and other residents. Nancy told them she was leaving to pick up her daughter. Darlene Mills gave a... Well, see, there's two things about this, which is really important because he wanted her to come pick up, the ruse was for her to come pick up Allison. However, he had Allison stay at his uncle's house. So when you put those together, that's just really incriminating at that point because that means it's a ruse to get her to come over because he had already taken the daughter into the uncle's house, right? See how that's kind of crazy? I mean, that would be a huge piece of information if that could all be testified to. I mean, that's sort of beyond... there's no reasonable other explanation for that. Right? There's nothing reasonable. Mills recalled being in the Reck, and then it says Kay Fredericks, a tenant at the Civic Center residence, stated Nancy told her she tried to arrange with Patrick to pick up Allison earlier on Sunday, 8/8/82, but Patrick would not let her. Let's see. Let me see that. Kathy Fredericks, a tenant at the Civic Center residence, stated Nancy told her she tried to arrange with Patrick to pick up Allison earlier on Sunday. Yeah, but he wasn't able to drop Allison off at the uncle's house yet, so he conveniently wouldn't allow her to come over. That's my opinion on that. But Patrick would not let her. Right. Police interviewed Mary Galvani's mother, the mother of Patrick. Let's see. Police interviewed Mary Galvani. Oh yeah, mother of Patrick. Okay, so like the grandmother of Allison. On Saturday, 8/14/82, Mary Galvani lived in St. Paul, Minnesota, and was called by Patrick on Monday, 8/9. That was the Monday at 11 a.m. So Patrick stated Nancy had not showed up to pick up Allison on that day at 8 a.m. Patrick asked her, because you had her come over the day before and you killed her. Patrick asked her to fly to San Francisco on 8/12 to care for Allison. Mary Galvani did not know why Patrick hadn't called relatives in the Bay Area. Mary Galvani stated Patrick had an uncle, Patrick Joseph Moriarty, 67, in San Francisco, and a niece, right. But he didn't want to bring the uncle over because then he would go, well, what happened to her? You wanted, so it's just, he wanted somebody outside that had no knowledge of what he was doing and wouldn't put two and two together. That's why he called the grandmother. Let's see. MG did not know why Patrick had called relatives in the Bay Area. See, there you go. Stated Patrick had an uncle, Patrick Joseph Moriarty, San Francisco, and a niece, Barbara Burns in Marin. The two women in the apartment above had also babysat Allison in the past. Patrick made no effort to determine why Nancy hadn't arrived on Sunday evening. Patrick made no effort to determine Nancy hadn't arrived on Sunday evening. Civic Center Hotel switchboard operator Rennie Rue stated she was on the switchboard from 3 p.m. Okay, so the people that knew that Patrick knew that was having her come over at 8 o'clock in the evening. I mean, not 8 o'clock, on the 8th, you know, to pick up Allison. And then after, you know, she never showed up, he never called to say, hey, where's Allison? I mean, not Allison, where's Nancy? Jeez. It's hard to get all the names straight because there's so many of them right now. But yeah, so you got Nancy, the mother, Allison, the daughter. So, you know, Patrick made no effort to determine why Nancy hadn't arrived. So he never called the Civic Center where Nancy was staying to check to see, hey, where is she? Stated she was on a switchboard from 3 p.m. August 8th to 7 a.m. August 9th, and there were no calls from Patrick. All right, but hey, you guys. Yeah, we already know, Rosemary. I've been in communication with her. You're not unique here. You're not coming up with something unknown. We'll definitely do one at some other time where it's just her on talking about it. Okay, I'm just trying to work through the basic stuff. And I just sure as hell don't need, you know, it's just weird how the people like you try to run. I don't know, man. I get so frustrated. It's unbelievable. I've talked about it before, how I was going to do this. Yeah, and, well, she's going to come on another time, but I want to have more information, too. Like, we're just kind of, you know, here's what doesn't work very good is when you have somebody on that they're in it, and we just start rambling, and we're all disjointed, and we're all over the place. But now everybody's going to have the basic part of the story. Then, if I can get more information, we can go over that. And then, when she comes on, we're all really sort of have the background. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know she was going to be here. I tried calling her twice today. So that's not what I planned on. So I'm not sure why. It's just weird, you know. Thanks, Allie Cake. Huh? Right. Yeah, I'm trying to get through the basic information. You know, because whenever you bring somebody on that knows the whole story, it gets way too complicated too fast. All right, so now everybody will know it, and then when she comes on the next time, we'll all know the story, right? Yeah, so Nancy's body was found in the San Francisco Bay on the 9th. Her husband, you know, estranged husband that they were filing for divorce, hadn't reported them for 3 or 4 days. Then I guess apparently Allison was staying with her father at the residence that they all shared, and then, I don't know, for the weekend, I guess. And then he actually told her to come pick her up a day earlier. Mary was supposed to pick up Allison on Monday, but was told to pick up Allison on Sunday. But Allison was given to the uncle on the 8th. So it was a ruse by Patrick to tell Mary to come pick up Allison because she wasn't even there. And then, you know, when Allison was found, she was wrapped up in a sleeping bag that, well, I guess apparently was in the back seat of Mary's vehicle, which was found in the garage. So she made it over to his house just like he wanted. But Allison wasn't there, of course, and he didn't want any witnesses to what he was going to be doing. Right? So that's pretty much the gist of it right there, I would say. Pretty obvious story. Kind of amazing that they haven't, is he still alive out there? Yeah, it's no problem, Rosemary. I just know what I'm doing, you know, so I don't need when you're I mean, I know exactly who's in the chat and everything. She didn't respond earlier today, so I didn't know if she was even going to be here, so I was going to go over it. So I didn't plan on... I just want to go through the order. And then... My God, people. It's wild. Anyways, we're currently we're not even at 50% still, you guys. So if you have the ability to help support the channel out there tonight, I know we're not covering one of the big zip, bang, wow, boom, but that's why these are important too. You see how interesting this one is, even though it's not one of the ones like, oh, it's Koberger, So it used to be on this channel. It didn't matter what we covered; it was always the same. We had a decent number of people here, and the support was good. But nowadays, it's very strange how people are. Hey, thanks, Yvette M. Fox. Yeah, I think this is incredibly interesting. It is understood that the confusion over Allison's whereabouts, and by the way, Rosemary, we'll definitely have her on. Okay, don't worry about it. It's understood that the confusion over Allison's whereabouts on the evening of August 8th may have initially arisen due to a poorly conducted interview of Allison by a Foster City police officer, Meggers, who was supposedly trained to work with juveniles. In recent interviews, both ex-officers Kiramis and Darren expressed strong concern about the competency of Officer Meggers to conduct interviews and solicit correct information. Nancy Galvani's car moved after death. Initial 1982 police investigation only focused on Nancy Galvani's car being found at 1871 Green Street. Prior to Nancy Galvani leaving Pat Galvani in early summer 1982, she would park her car in the garage under the 1871 Green Street, their main residence. Patrick Galvani is believed to have parked his car, believed to be a white Mercedes sedan, in the basement garage of 1865 Green Street, the house next to 1871. Both residences were owned by Galvani's. After she moved out, Nancy Galvani is believed to have kept her car in a parking lot next to the hotel on 44 McAllister Street. Nancy Galvani's distinctive car was identified at 3 different locations after the time of her death on Sunday evening, August 8, 1982, after Nancy Galvani had left 44 McAllister Street. Nancy's car was parked outside of 1871 Green Street on Sunday evening parked outside at 8:20 p.m. Well, that's interesting. So she wouldn't have driven in the garage. She would have just parked outside because, she might have been like, hey, this isn't my place anymore. Parked outside. And then he must have moved it back into the garage at some point and probably used her to transport, I don't know if that's coming up or not, but maybe to transport her body. Car was then seen inside garage of 1865 Green Street, i.e. next door to 1871. Millicent and flatmate were returning. Not sure what that means. A tenant of Millicent and flatmate. That's like what they say over in Europe. Flatmate. Were returning from a movie and were able to give police accurate time. Both remarked on car and thought it strange that Nancy had returned. Evidence. Okay, so let's see. The car was parked outside at 8:20. Evidence. Millicent Mead, tenant of 1871. Millicent and flatmate. So it must have been on the second floor, maybe. Were returning from a movie and were able to give police accurate time. Both remarked on the car. The car was then seen inside the garage of 1865 Green Street, next door to 1871. Oh, so it was in the 1865 garage. Next door to 1871 on Monday morning at 11:30 a.m. Evidence of Leonardus tenant of 1865 owned by PG or Patrick, and only Patrick had access to the garage. Although it is unclear how. So when they found the car, when the police found the car, was it in the 1871 or 1865? That's what I want to know. Oh, you actually know her, Rosemary? Oh, I didn't realize. I thought you were just randomly. Hey, thanks, Kinsman. Hey, my father's alibi. When the police came over and they found her car, was it in 1871? Let's see. I think it switches. Let me do this part. Let's just get through this. This part's really interesting here. The car was then inside garage of 1865 Green Street, so it was next door to 1871, but he owned both properties. Evidence of the, it was a tenant at 1865, but it was owned by Patrick, and Patrick had the only access to the garage, although it is unclear how Thea Leonardus could have seen the car in the garage if only PG had access. Possibly, access refers to ability to park car there. There is no credible reason why Nancy, having parked her car outside, number 871, believing she would quickly pick up Allison, right, and return to the party she had organized at 44 McAllister, would then re-park her car in the next door basement garage that she did not usually use and usually contained Patrick Galvani's Mercedes. Other than Pat Galvani, no one is believed to have had the ability to park a car at 1865. Oh, it's been. I thought this was the first place she did it, Rosemary. Oh well. On night of Monday, August 9th, Allison wakes to hear her father's car leaving the basement garage of 1871. So on the night of Monday, August 9th, Allison wakes to hear her father's car leaving the basement garage of 1871. All right, so now he's going to switch cars, i.e. the house where she was sleeping that night. Shortly afterwards, Allison sees her mother's car, there it is, being driven into the garage of 1871, and then he put his car into that one. Wow. Why did he do that? Oh, yeah, that looks less suspicious. So his concern was, wow, if I have her car over in that one, I'm the only one with access to it. She wouldn't even be parking over there. But this one, it looks at least a little more reasonable that she's in my garage. But even then, it doesn't make sense. The car found by Patrick in the garage of 1871 on Thursday, even if Thea Leonardus' testimony is discounted, i.e. the Nancy car had been parked in the basement garage of 1871 on August 9th, there's no credible reason why Nancy, having parked her car outside, right, at 1871, on the evening of August 8th, believing, yeah, I mean, there's like two things. Like, it doesn't, that's kind of like the, let's see, Sarah Carbaugh, in the Delphi case. Like, her testimony doesn't mean anything to me at all. I don't care about it. So the fact that this one neighbor said she saw the car in 1865 doesn't necessarily, it's not even important, because what's more important is a verified time where Nancy's car is seen parked outside on the street, and all she was doing was picking up Allison, and all of a sudden now her car's in the garage of 1871. That doesn't make any sense. And when she was staying there, she would park her car at 1871, and he would park his car at 1865. But when she moved out, obviously he would park the car in his car in 1871, because that's the building he's living in. Yeah, so anyways, on the evening of August 6th, believes she would quickly pick up Allison and return to 40. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was just saying. There's no credible reason why Nancy, having parked her car outside of 1871 on the evening of August 8th, believing she would quickly pick up Allison and return to 44 McAllister, would then have reparked her car in the basement of 1871. Other than Pat Galvani and Nancy Galvani, no one is believed to have had the ability to park a car in 1871. You might ask yourself, did she have the ability to park her car into 1865? But again, if you just kind of take that out of the story, although, sounds pretty legit because it sounds like Allison saw the the transfer of the vehicles. And that would just add a level of nefariousness. Good night, Linda Howe, as in Linda Moulden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Is there other information in this one? I mean, what else is in those documents that you have? I mean, is there a bunch of other information that we don't have? I mean, like this other damning stuff, or is it just kind of random? What we just read is sort of you putting those notes together. Right, she just parked right there outside the house. I mean, is there even a driveway there, though? I mean, it doesn't look like it. Oh, I guess you just park right there, right? Yeah. Like you just pull up out in the front and pull up right in front of the garage. And then 1865 is right over here. So that means he drove her car into that garage and then switched them out. That's crazy right there. Would you like to read more now? Yeah, if you send me an email. Yeah, go ahead. The other thing was just a long article, right? Is there anything in that one that we need to look at in this PDF here? I guess that's them right there, though. But hey, you guys, we're barely over 50%. So if you're out there and you can help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, I would appreciate it. Now right here she says, my father used me as bait to lure my mother to her death. Yeah, that sounds like that's exactly what he did. And you stayed over at your uncle's house. Did you send it? Thanks, Sonia. Ah, geez, some other person just randomly sent me this thing. I don't see it in here. I'm just waiting here. Did you send it? I don't see it. I don't know, man. I don't have it. I keep hitting refresh, and it's just not there. Do you see? Okay, here, that might be it. So those things at the bottom there, is that what you were talking about? Oops. What's that first word? Socially or basically or what is that? I don't know. Something. This is what you want me to read right here. These things right here. Friends and. Oh boy. Yeah. Here, let's try to let me let me do this. Here, let me do my chat GPT. It actually can read these things. It's crazy. Decipher handwritten note. All right, here we go.
Could you please provide an image or detailed description of the handwritten note you'd like to decipher? I'll do my best to interpret it for you.
Maybe I'll switch the voice. Let me get some lady named Erica. All right, did you guys do it? Oh. Man, I'm just really frustrated, you guys.
If you have a handwritten letter you'd like deciphered, you can either upload a clear image or scan of the letter. I'll analyze the handwriting and provide the best.
Let's see if it works. Social?
Here's the transcription of the handwritten letter. Socially, Nancy missed her New York friends, and both became disillusioned with the South. During a visit to SF for Nancy to attend the orthopsychiatric convention, both eventually decided to try to move there. Nancy, although having no family there, had graduated from Notre Dame Belmont HS and attended UC Berkeley, so was familiar with the Bay Area. After 6 months, Pat obtained a position with Arthur Anderson, and the couple moved to San Francisco, renting an apartment at Pine St. Pat traveled often. Let me know if further clarification or edits are needed.
You gotta admit, like, that's pretty crazy. That read it perfectly. I could actually make out the words in that one. Crazy. What do you think? Here, I'm gonna get all these and do the same thing that I just did. That's amazing how it did that. That one's probably not that bad. So this is Nancy's, like, a diary or something, or what is this? Man, I can't believe it read that so perfectly, and I couldn't make out any words at all, really. These ones look easier, but I'm just going to have it do it anyways. But hey, guys, is there any chance you guys can help support the channel so we can reach our goal tonight? Not even close at this point. Alright, let's see. Let me just throw this other one in there and see if it just automatically knows how to do that.
Here is the transcription of the handwritten text. July 19th, 1982. In passing, my daughter mentioned the following of the first weekend with her father and mother-in-law. She never had a bath or shower. She never brushed her teeth. She was kept up until 11 p.m., knowing I had to pick her up at 7:15 for an 8:12 job the next day. My mother doesn't exist, this according to her father and his mother, who was visiting that weekend. That I am sick and becoming sicker according to him. That he deserves my money life savings because I haven't done more. That he needs to charge. Let me know if you'd like further assistance or clarification.
Yeah.
Here's the transcription of the handwritten text. 2-bedroom apartment only with a view of the city. Continued questioning if I raised my voice to her or hit her, which she, of course, denied. That my doctor said he should fight with me more? That he won and was going to win more. That his mother was trying to fabricate more things to use against me. That they might leave me a little furniture. That they were trying to figure out how far back they could go to use things against me. And were planning something mean. Let me know if you'd like further clarifications or need anything else.
This thing works pretty good. Who said AI is bad?
Her father told her she should. Her father told her she should.
Oops.
Her father told her she should.
Sorry, I have to start it right there.
Here's the transcription of the handwritten text. July 25th, 1982. Her father told her she should always carry his phone and her book in case I became crazy or did something when we were out. He took her to his girlfriend for dinner, smiled and hugged her in front of Allison, and told her she would be the flower girl at the wedding. He took her on a job instead of calling me as ordered by the judge. He said he was really going to get me in front of the judge. Allison said he was planning something mean and sweet, and my lawyer wasn't going to like it.
Does it say mean and sweet? He said I took her... Huh. Wait. Says her father told her she should always carry his phone and her book in case I became crazy or did something when we were out. Well, how could you have a phone in 1982? I don't know what that means. Her father told her she should always carry his phone number. Okay, there it is. Phone number and her book. Phone number in her book. Right. In case I became crazy or did something when we were out. He took her to his girlfriend for dinner, smiled and hugged her in front of Allison, and told her she would be the flower girl at the wedding. Jeez. He took her on a job instead of calling me as ordered by the judge. He said he was really going to get me... Let's see. He said he was really going to get me in front of the judge. Allison said he was planning something mean. And... I'm not sure if it says sweet there or not, but that's what they said. And my lawyer wasn't going to like it. He said I took her to live in dumps. Huh. kind of interesting. Thanks, Kinsman. I guess you're the only one that heard. That's just wild. Let's see. This was number, that was the third one. Right? Yeah, then let's go on to this one. What am I looking at, Alley Cake? Okay, inner sock, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just take your phone number is the key part. Alright, let's see.
Here's the transcription of the handwritten text. July 25th, 1982. Her father told her she should always carry his phone and her book in case I became crazy or did something when we were out. He took her to his girlfriend for dinner, smiled and hugged her in front of Allison, and told her she would be the flower girl at the wedding. He took her on a job instead of calling me as ordered by the judge. He said he was really going to get me in front of the judge.
Okay, I gotta move on to the next one. I thought that was that one. Alright, here we go. Let's see how it does on this one.
Allison said he was planning something mean and sweet, and my lawyer wasn't going to like.
Okay, here we go. Right.
If you have an image or a file with... Here's a transcription of the handwriting in the image. Daddy always lets me stay up as late as I want till 10 or 11, and then wakes me up in the middle of the night to play or watch monster movies on TV. He keeps talking to me about how sick you are, and I say, no she isn't, and I don't want to hear it. I go in my room to play, and he follows me and keeps talking about it. Allison. 8. He told me I should talk to your doctor, and he will tell me how sick you are. 9. He told me I might not look or act sick, but I still am, even if it doesn't show. Let me know if you'd like further clarification or help.
Guy sounds like a monster. I mean, this would have been a slam dunk circumstantial case. You know? It should have been.
Here's the transcription of the handwriting in the second image. Apartment. 1. Pat told tenants upstairs that he wanted the apartment upstairs to force me to sell both buildings faster. 2. Next door, he evicted women from smallest apt. To contrast difference in size, because he wanted the front window. She next door found another apt. The girls upstairs haven't looked as they feel Pat was irrational and didn't make sense. Let me know if you need additional help.
Evicted women from smallest apartment. Contract difference in... I'm not sure what that means. Contrast difference in size? I don't know. Let's see. Move on to this one. It's close. They got that first one, which is way harder to read than the other ones. It's pretty amazing.
Here's the transcription of the handwriting in the third image.
Thanks, Esther.
Addendum to previous statement. On 2 occasions when Allison was 1.5 and 2.5, she suffered from severe earaches and fever in the middle of the night. Only my holding comforted her, and I asked Pat on both occasions to drive us to Kaiser. Both times he refused and told me to wait for the next day. Both times I was forced to carry her to Union Saint at 2 a.m., to hail a cab to take her to the emergency room where she was immediately treated with ampicillin. We took a cab home as Pat refused to get up. Let me know if further assistance is needed. Here's the transcription of the handwriting in the image. July 24th, picked up Allison Sunday 12 noon, not Ma 9:30. July 31, insisted I take Allison that weekend, even though I had her 2 weekends out of 4 because I have things to do. August 7th, picked up Allison Sunday 8 p.m. instead of Mon 8:30 at his insistence. I asked if he could then drop her off at 8 p.m. as I had committed myself to service at a residence gathering, but he said, if you want her, you always have to pick her up and drop her off. I never will. Let me know if you need further assistance.
Well, that's interesting because that's her own... Is that a diary or what is this? Because that actually shows that picked up Allison... So this is like after the fact, or who wrote this right here? But why does she say pick? So this is like she's speaking to people into the future, right? Like, I mean, because this is obviously she wrote this on August 7th, but she hadn't picked up Allison yet, but she says picked up Allison. I thought she was murdered on the 8th. What do you mean? We've already gone through all the dates. It was the 8th that she was murdered. Remember? She had to go over on the 8th earlier, and the 9th is the Monday. And I think she's talking in the future. Like, this is what she's supposed to have done, but she wrote it on the 7th. Picked up Allison Sunday at 8 p.m. instead of Monday, because that means she hadn't picked her up yet. Because we know she wouldn't have had any time to write any of this stuff. What do you mean she was found on the 8th? We just went through the whole document. It's confusing now. Let me go back and open that one again. I think she wrote this on the 8th. Well, I don't know. I mean, are you sure about those dates that you're saying there? Because that doesn't match what we were talking about. I'm going to have to open up that document again. Patrick and Nancy Galvani owned the house at 1871 Green Street. However, they occupied only one floor, a relatively small apartment. Let's see, and her father at the 18th. So Allison was going to stay with her father on the 7th and 8th. Her mother, Nancy Galvani, was scheduled to pick up Allison from 1871 Green Street on the morning of Monday, August 9th. See? Since Nancy did not pick up Allison on the evening of August 8th, and was murdered during the night of August 8th and 9th, investigating police assumed that Allison must have been at the residence on 1871 Green Street on the night of August 8th. See? Okay. All right. I'm just reading your comments now. Hey, I know it better than you now. I'm just kidding. All right, let me throw these other ones in there.
July 25th, 1982. Her father told her she should always carry his phone and her book in case I became crazy or did something when we were out. He took her to his girlfriend for dinner, smiled and hugged her in front of Allison, and told her she...
Thought it was this one. Picked up Allison Sunday, yeah. Okay. Oh, we haven't done that. Okay, we haven't done just the last one. Now we've done all the rest of them. None of them picked up Allison. It sounds like they're all ahead of time.
Here's the transcription of the handwriting in the image. Socially, Nancy missed her New York friends and both became disillusioned with the South. During a visit to SF for Nancy to attend the orthopsychiatric convention, both eventually decided to try to move there. Nancy, although having no family there, had graduated from Notre Dame Belmont HS and attended UC Berkeley, so was familiar with the Bay Area. After 6 months, Pat obtained a position with Arthur Anderson, and the couple moved to San Francisco, renting an apartment at Pine St. Pat traveled often. Let me know if further assistance is needed.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Well, they're all kind of. Let me read these again. Not, I don't. I'm not going to read them again, but I'm just saying. So this one he's talking about. She's talking about stuff like what he did, and then these are Pat told. So these are just sort of like narrative about what she knew. But then here it's weird. It's almost like, why is it saying picked up? Like all these other ones, the 24th, 31st, August 7th. She says on August 7th, picked up Allison Sunday at 8 p.m. Almost like she knows something's going to happen to her or something. I mean, I don't know. It's weird because, I mean, is she sitting in a car writing these notes or something? I don't understand this part here. Like, why is she typing like that? Picked up Allison Sunday at 8 p.m. instead of Monday 8:30 at his insistence. So that sort of is proof of that. But why wouldn't she just type in, like, he wants me to pick up Allison on the 8th instead of 8:30, instead of saying picked up like it already happened. Right, that's what I was saying a minute ago. Okay, that's what I was wondering, if she was documenting. So at this point, she thought something was going to happen to her, and she's telling people, like on the 24th, though, she lived, so she wrote that ahead of time, too, maybe. So even on the 24th, picked up Allison Sunday, 12 noon, so she thought maybe something was going to happen to her that time. So these are all the times she's picking Allison up. The 24th, the 31st, and then the 7th, and she's writing this down for anybody to read if something happened to her. That's what it sounds like. No, Cindy. No, I don't think. You think that's for the divorce? Why would she say that then? That doesn't make any sense if that's for her attorney. That doesn't make any sense at all. Because it hadn't happened yet. That doesn't make any sense. I think it's more like she's thinking something's going to happen to her, so she says, this is what I did in case I don't make it back. That's what it feels like she's doing. You just found me recently in this Odo case. I always just find that startling, I put the best stuff out there of anybody, and somehow I randomly nobody ever sees the channel. No, I didn't see the new one that you just sent. How would I have seen it when I didn't know about it? What is this other one that you sent? You guys, we're currently only at 60% of a normal nightly goal. We've got over 250 people here, or we did anyways. Should be pretty easy to reach that. We're getting, we're on the last third of the month here. We were doing well. I'm trying to get to a point where I can give away, forget it, man. It just gets tired. It gets old. Forget it. Yeah, what is this part right here? Okay. What the heck? Oh, that was from earlier. Maybe I'll have this chat GPT read this damn thing. Oh, wait. No, wait. I can have something else. Can I have... It's not on the internet, so probably that's why. Alright, let's see. On June 8th, 2010 at 2 p.m., I met with Detective Brian Tidwell and Sergeant Mike Hart of the FCPD. As before, they were helpful and cordial. I began the discussion with Detective Tidwell. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Hold on. Is this a Word document?
The document you provided appears to be a review of the Nancy Galvani case conducted by Brian Krasnowski from Kivu Consulting. It summarizes investigative activities, findings, and unresolved questions. Here are key highlights. Discrepancies in accounts. Conflicting statements regarding when Nancy was supposed to pick up her daughter Allison Galvani, AG. Allegations that Patrick...
Isn't that pretty crazy? Like, you can put the document in ChatGPT and it does a summary of it. It's crazy. I don't know how the hell it does. Let's see. Provide maximum detail. And you can tell me if it got anything wrong, but it probably won't. So here we go.
Here's a detailed breakdown of the document's content regarding the Nancy Galvani case investigation. Meeting overview. Date and time, June 8, 2010, at 2 p.m. Participants, Brian Krasnowski, Kivu Consulting, Detective Brian Tidwell, and Sergeant Mike Hart of the Foster City Police Department, FCPD. Purpose, review updates and unresolved issues in the 1982 case concerning Nancy Galvani's disappearance and subsequent murder. Key issues identified. Discrepancies in statements regarding pickup arrangements for Allison Galvani Aggie. Patrick Galvani's account. He told police, his mother, and the media that Nancy failed to show up on August 9, 1982, as planned. Nancy Galvani's diary indicated an appointment to pick up Allison on August 8, 1982, at 8 p.m. Witness accounts supporting Nancy's claim. Nell Tanner, Civic Center Manager. Melody Mills, Friend and Tenant. Howard Histed and Darlene Mills, Civic Center Tenants. Threats reported by Nancy told her friend Natalie Martinelli and sister Christina Pujols that Patrick threatened to kill her if she got custody of Allison. Inconsistencies in AG's statements. AG recalled going to bed early on August 8, 1982, but did not clarify where she stayed or the events that night. AG's recent recollection that she stayed at her uncle Patrick Moriarty's home on August 8, 1982, requires review and verification. Forensic evidence. Cement particles. Cement residue found in Nancy's car trunk 1982 did not match. Cement blocks in Patrick's garage. The cement block tied to Nancy's body. Rope comparison. Pending forensic analysis to compare rope tied to Nancy's body with rope found at Patrick's residence. DNA analysis. Fingernail clippings from Nancy sent to the FBI for DNA testing. Investigative findings. Witness statements. Neighbors at Green Street. James Heisey overheard arguments and claims Nancy threatened to report Patrick for embezzlement. Millicent Mead last saw Nancy's car parked on August 8, 1982, at 8:20 p.m. Thea Lenardes saw Nancy's car in Patrick's garage on August 9, 1982, tenants at Civic Center residence. Kay Fredericks, Nancy tried to arrange an earlier pickup for Allison, but Patrick refused. Melody Mills described Nancy's brief romantic interaction with a tenant, Bob Wiley, who was later ruled out as a suspect. Missing person report filed by Patrick. Patrick filed the report with the San Francisco Police Department SFPD on August 13, 1982, using notes from a legal pad. He mentioned that Nancy had retrieved her passport recently. Restraining order. Nancy filed a restraining order against Patrick on June 22, 1982, citing an incident where he held a pillow over her face. Flight reservation. No airline reservation found for Patrick on August 8, 1982, despite his claim of needing to leave town. Physical evidence recognition. Allison identified the sleeping bag Nancy was found in as belonging to her mother. Distance validation. A police report established that the drive from the Civic Center residence to Green Street took 9 minutes. Legal observations. Nancy's restraining order included descriptions of Patrick's threatening behavior. Expired on September 22, 1982. Case closure. No documents explain why Patrick was released after his arrest or why the case was dropped. No records of visitors to
What
Patrick
expired?
during his detention. Open questions and next steps. Patrick's arrest and release. Clarify when, why, and under what circumstances Patrick was released after his arrest for murder. Review of DA files. Access San Mateo County District Attorney's Office records for additional evidence or insights. Unresolved witness follow-ups. Locate individuals such as Melody Mills, Howard Histed, and others who had key interactions with Nancy.
And that's additional notes. Tidwell and Sergeant Hart expressed willingness to facilitate further review of case files and coordinate with the district attorney's office. And investigate efforts included interviews, documents reviewed, and forensic check, but crucial gaps remain. This report reflects thorough review of investigation, but emphasizes unresolved issues that hinder case progress. How was that? That broke it down pretty good, didn't it? I'm sure there's more dates and stuff in there. I mean, it's, I guess I could have it try to, how would that work? Thanks, Vicky White. It's like a pretty... So is this through all the documents that you're looking at? I think it's just like, this is a case that's a no-brainer case if they took it to court. I don't think anybody would be confused. Yeah, so what if the cement didn't match over there? That's irrelevant. I mean, how did her car get back into his garage? And then, how come Allison wasn't there when she went there? Well, because he didn't have her there, so that she couldn't be a witness to something. Crazy, huh? What's the name of this thing? Oh, I guess I need to update this. I'm trying to figure out how to way to read this whole thing. Maybe the whole thing would have a little extra in there. Oh, thanks, Lanky Tor. Lanky Tor for the PayPal there. Appreciate it. Don't you think it's odd, you guys, that one of the first nights I'm not reaching the goal is when we break off and talk about something else that's just as interesting? Jesus. In like a month. Yeah. Okay. I don't know, I'm gonna have to just... That's another Word document. I'll see if it can do the same thing again. Kind of nice having the Cliff Notes. And my goal, I try to bring in like 250 YouTube takes their 30%, and usually when we get to 250, I donate 5 memberships myself. But tonight we're at 165. I mean, it's just like, wow, unbelievable. Let's see, and that should be kind of easy with 250 people. Hey, thanks, Yvette Fox. I'm trying to open up Chat GPT here. Again, I'm going to upload the same document. Let's see. Affidavit, is that the one? The affidavit of Helen Fields, is that the one I just... Yeah, okay. Let's see. Decipher words on Word doc. Okay, let's try it. I want every word.
Please upload the Word document, and I can help extract or decipher the words for you.
I don't know. Where are you? I'm a DNA detective. We don't have to rely on Guinevere Moonmist every single night, right?
The document is an affidavit by Helen Field in a probate case involving the estate of Irvin Tepper, filed in the Circuit Court for Broward County, Florida. It recounts a specific interaction between Helen Field and Ann Galvani, detailing a visit on April 20th, 2010, during which various topics were discussed, including a past murder investigation involving Ann Galvani's brother. If you need analysis, summaries, or specific details extracted from the document, let me know.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Let me know if you need further analysis or processing.
I guess that didn't really work. I wanted to try to read it.
This text appears to be a transcription of the affidavit's main body, where Helen Field details her experience with Ann Galvani's visit on April 20th, 2010.
Let's see if I'll read this.
If you need further analysis, summaries, or specific elements highlighted...
How about if I say something like summarize in highest detail a Word doc. Let's see what happens.
Create a highly detailed summary of the Word document, I will analyze its key components, highlighting names, dates, relationships, events, and any relevant context provided.
All right, let's see.
Let me prepare this comprehensive summary for you.
Here we go. It'll be good.
To create a highly detailed summary of the Word document, I will analyze its key components, highlighting names, dates, relationships, events, and any relevant context provided. Let me prepare this comprehensive summary for you.
It's cool how it does that, but let me get to right here.
To create...
Crap. Let's see. Summarize Word document. I'll put it back in there again, because once you start getting too much stuff on there, it gets kind of overloaded.
Please upload the Word.
All right, so here we go.
The affidavit of Helen Field contains the following key points. Background. Helen Field, age 90.
So I'm going to say more, highest detail, and that should even be more. So let's do it. 18 months unemployed.
Here is a highly detailed summary of Helen Field's affidavit. Affidavit overview. Helen Field, a 96-year-old resident of Palm Beach County, Florida, provided a sworn statement regarding an unexpected visit from Ann Galvani, the ex-wife of her son Edward Schneiderman, on April 20th, 2010. The affidavit outlines the visit's details, conversations, and Helen's subsequent reflections. Background context. Helen's family. Helen Field is the mother of Edward Schneiderman. Edward was previously married to Anne Galvani. Their marriage ended in divorce around 1997. They share 2 children, including a granddaughter, Amy. Prior relationship with Anne Galvani. Helen maintained a cordial relationship with Anne, primarily due to their shared family connections. However, communication was infrequent. Their last interaction before the April 2010 visit occurred several years earlier at a family gathering, and Helen had limited direct contact with Anne since Edward's remarriage to Annie's. Events of April 20, 2010. Initial contact. Anne called Helen unexpectedly in mid-April 2010, stating she was in Palm Beach County and had recently purchased a home in the area. She proposed a visit, which Helen agreed to, as she saw no reason for suspicion. Arrival at Helen's home. Anne arrived at Helen's home at 2 p.m., bringing a gift, a framed photograph featuring Helen, her late husband, and Anne's mother, Mary. Mary had been a friend of Helen's but was moved into a nursing home recently. Anne's phone calls to Helen had been rare historically. Conversation and activities. Initial small talk included family updates, health discussions, and reminiscing. Anne unexpectedly brought up a decades-old California murder investigation involving her brother, particularly her role in assisting his defense. She recounted how her actions helped close the case, implying she was instrumental in ensuring her brother avoided charges. This narrative surprised Helen due to its unexpected nature and the lack of prior discussions on the matter. Anne inquired about Edward and his current wife, Anise, including the duration of their marriage, 10 years. Anne spent 20-30 minutes in Helen's bedroom, examining family photos and Amy's artwork, expressing interest in family memorabilia. Outside walk and dinner. Helen and Anne went for a walk, discussing various family-related topics, including Anne's new Palm Beach home and her planned return to New York. They had dinner at the Edgewater dining room around 5 p.m. The conversation during the meal was mostly about the food. Departure. Anne left around 6 p.m., citing traffic concerns. Helen escorted her to her car, and they parted on seemingly good terms. Post-visit observations. Helen's unease. After the visit, Helen felt uneasy and speculated that Anne's motives might have extended beyond a social call. She suspected Anne was seeking information either about her brother's past murder case or about Edward and Anise. Helen believed she had only provided neutral, non-substantial information during their conversations. Edward's reaction. When Helen informed Edward about the visit a few days later, he was both surprised and irritated, as he had not been aware of Anne's presence in the area or her intent to visit Helen. No further contact. Since the April 20, 2010 visit, Helen has not heard from Anne. Anne did not follow up with any calls, notes, or other communications. Key observations from the affidavit. Unusual topics. Anne's unsolicited and detailed discussion of her brother's murder investigation, decades after the event, was peculiar and raised concerns for Helen. The timing and context of the conversation appeared unprompted, especially given Anne's lack of prior communication about the case. Focus on family details. Anne's interest in Edward, Anise, and family artifacts suggested a possible ulterior motive. Her actions, including prolonged time spent in Helen's personal space, furthered Helen's suspicions. Lingering doubts. Helen emphasized that while the visit seemed friendly on the surface, it left her feeling uncomfortable, as if the encounter was orchestrated for specific, undisclosed purposes. Conclusion. Helen Field's affidavit is a formal record of her interaction with Anne Galvani on April 20, 2010, providing a detailed account of events, conversations, and her reflections. It underscores Helen's suspicions about the true intent behind the visit, especially given its unusual nature and the lack of subsequent communication from Anne.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, how is she related? I mean, Galvani's the name, but said she was in Palm Beach County and said that she wanted to come and visit me. Who's me? I mean, Field, my name is Helen Field, I'm 96 years of age, and I'm otherwise something. I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth herein. My son is Edward Schneiderman. Edward was previously married to Anne Galvani. They had 2 children together. In approximately 1997, Edward and Anne Galvani were divorced. But I mean, that's not the name of the guy we're talking about. Sometime in mid-April 2010, Ann Galvani telephoned me, said she was in Palm Beach County, and said she wanted to come and visit me later in the week. During the call, Ann Galvani said that she had purchased a home in Palm Beach. The call from Ann Galvani came from about, I don't know what this is about. I was having a hard time figuring, you know, like Ann Galvani, I mean, who is that? You know? Yeah, I mean, it could be the brother, but it doesn't really say anything like that. I mean, what does she know, though? Like, who's Helen Field, you know? Right, but who's Helen Field? Like, what does she have to do with anything? And who is the one that, the murder they're talking about? Began speaking about something that I found to be strange. She started talking about the California murder investigation involving her brother several years ago, relating to the murder of her brother and wife, and went into some detail. Ann Galvani told me that she had been involved in her brother's defense in that investigation and described how she had done something that she thought was very clever in connection with that representation that resulted in the investigation being closed. Wonder what that was. Although I do not recall her exact words, Anna Galvani expressed the thought that she had been responsible for her brother getting off. I just listened to Ann Galvani speak about that issue, but made no comment. At the time of the investigation in 1982 and 1983, I was aware that the murder had happened and that Ann Galvani's brother was being investigated, but I never brought it up with Ann Galvani because I was sure it was not something she was proud of, for the same reason. I felt that I should not comment on what she was telling me during our visit. I thought it was very odd that Ann Galvani was talking about the murder investigation, both because it had happened. But who is this person though? Who's Helen Field? Like, why was Ann talking to her about anything? Who's Helen Field? All right, I'll try one last time on here, you guys. If you guys want me to be able to keep doing these shows, etc., I'm going to need support on each night when we do these shows, or I have to do something else to bring in the income. But if you like the shows, then I need you guys to support on a nightly basis. So currently we are not even close, and we've been doing on the show right now for 2 hours and 11 minutes. So if you guys have the ability to, that would be great. I'd like to be able to cover whatever the hell I want to cover and have the support come in, like we used to be able to do. All right? I don't know what else to tell you or how to act or anything. I'm just telling you, it does get pretty frustrating. And you'll see why at the end of the month. I was hoping this month to be able to maybe try to get it back up into the $6,000 range, but now we're just collapsing hard at the end of the month, so now it's going to be tough. So who is that person? Yeah, well, just say who it is when I ask what it is. Like, who is Helen Field? Did Anne believe Patrick murdered what? Okay, that's your aunt. I thought that Ann Galvani is your aunt. How is she connected? Is that your mom's sister? Helen Field? And then Ann Galvani is the brother or mother of Patrick. Is the mother-in-law. Thanks, Allie Cake. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to... Like, what you need to do is have... Like, what you probably should do is write down all the key people's names and put down in, like, an org chart what they are. So then it's easy to kind of go through. You know, it wouldn't be any less confusing if you were sitting here explaining each person. It would just be like, what? Who's that? What's going on? So what you need to have is like a chart where you put different people and this is them and which side of the family they're on, etc. I don't know real plant diaries. I guess here's another one. He Googled, let's see, Joseph Metcher. My phone just started like reading what I was saying. He Googled Patrick Galvani and found the lawsuit 1977 to 1981. He worked for NLRB in summer of 1980. Had temporary field assignment to Oakland office. Returned to D.C. Then transferred to NLRB office in San Francisco. He moved next door into Galvani's house, into a house they owned, east side of their home. His building had several tenants. He did not have that much contact with Galvani's. Then he recalled things starting to get weird. One day he came home from the office and opened his door, sitting in his apartment. Jesus, what in the hell? One day he came home from the office and opened his door, sitting in his apartment with her back to him was Nancy Galvani. She was sort of delirious, not making any sense at all. Metcher went to get Patrick. At some point after that, Nancy moved out. Maybe she was drugged or something, planning to get a divorce. Metcher kept a file about... Maybe he was trying to poison her and get her to like die, make it seem like it was natural. At some point after that, Nancy moved out, planning to get a divorce. Metcher kept a file about this case and had copied the newspaper articles about it. He is now looking for his file. Metcher remembers Patrick's issue was his concern over losing custody of Allison. Nancy moved out. Later disappears. Her body was found floating in the bay near Foster City. Was she in Patrick's sleeping bag? Was she in, and then it says, he hired John Geeker to defend Patrick. So he hired John. He believed the Foster City cops conducted a half-hearted investigation. Nancy Galvani's mother pushed for an investigation. He believed that the tenants were interviewed by the cops. Patrick Galvani had no emotional reaction over the loss of his wife. Patrick's conversation with Metcher left Metcher with the impression that Patrick had killed his wife. Very strong feeling. M had one conversation with Patrick that just spooked me. Keeker had hired Jack Palladino, a private investigator, to conduct interviews. Metcher had dinner with Palladino, asked Palladino if Patrick did it. Palladino told Metcher, you have to admit he would be reasonable suspect. M got a job offer to represent the pilots union. M moved to LA, worked for airline pilots, then moved back to San Francisco 1985 to 89, worked for Chronicle and Examiner. He was manager and then director of labor relations for the newspapers. Then he fell in love with a psychotherapist and moved to LA. He continued to work in labor relations. Yeah, I mean, this seems like a cut and dry case. You know? I always wish for that cast of characters in true crime. I don't know what that means. No idea. But I guess that's it. I mean, if you have more stuff you can send me, I'll do it later, and then maybe we'll just have you come on and you can explain the whole thing in the next couple days. But man, you guys just... So thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to take off. Thanks to Jay Lizard, Lisa Noir 23, Kathy Fredmaker, Tina G. Oh, you don't have to... jeez. You don't have to... I don't want you to send me anything. I don't understand why the freaks weren't helping out tonight. But you didn't have to send me anything. We were just covering your case. But thank you anyways. I mean, jeez. That's crazy. Showcasing. Right, it's great, but the channel doesn't get... See, here's the thing, you guys. I'm trying to explain it to you. Like, you know, I've had conversations with other people. They go, Gray, I like those cold cases. And I do too. I think they're awesome. All right? I think they're great. But the time where the freaks supported my channel every single night, regardless of what we were discussing, those days are over. So I have to, for the channel to survive, I'm relegated to covering mainly the really big cases all the time. And other than that, you guys just aren't there doing it anymore, you know? So I don't know what to tell you. What do you want me to do? You know, I know it's awesome. I love doing these ones, but you guys make it so it's, you know, you don't support the channel the same way you do if it's some interesting, like one that you guys consider to be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but unfortunately that's the reality, and I've tried to explain it to you many times. If you guys want me to keep doing these kinds, you need to be supporting the channel regardless of it not being one of the really popular ones. All right? Because, you know, like my father's alibi shouldn't have had to do with any, you know, I didn't even want her to send anything in. But that right there barely got us past the goal, you guys. I mean, isn't that wild? You guys just... kind of just, you know, weren't there tonight for some reason. Anyways, I'm going to gift 5 memberships because of that. And you can see, like, everyone says that, Sandy. The whole month was great until the last 3 days. Right? So I don't agree with you. Anyway, sincerely, Katie, Care and Canada, Matt Lingo, and TC Sleuth. Jesus. Lori Facts, not feelings. Hey, well, that's what I do. I do the facts here, man. Just the facts. Let's see, what's today? Today's Thursday. Well, what are you doing tomorrow? We gotta have you come on like soon, so we haven't forgotten it all. You want to come on tomorrow, like at, I mean, what time do you get off work? What's your social security number? What's your, you probably get off, you probably live on the East Coast, right? Yeah, I would think. So if you live on the East Coast, then, you know, maybe we could do it like an earlier in the afternoon or something. Like 3 o'clock or something. Like, what time is it over there right now, where you are? Is it 12:40? Something like that? Oh, yeah? Well, maybe we can do one. We'll do, You can have your face on the screen, right? We could do the StreamYards version. I think that'd be pretty cool. So it's 12:47 when you're at. Right, so maybe tomorrow at like, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock my time or something. What do you think? How about 2 o'clock my time? Will that be good? And see if you can find any of your other pieces of information. Did you get my messages on your phone, by the way? Maybe I have the wrong number. I don't know. Well, thanks. I'm a DNA detective. Yep, so sounds good. So maybe like tomorrow. I just want to make sure that your number's correct, because if it's not, then I don't know how to get a hold of you tomorrow. Oh. You don't hear me going, hey, because I called you the wrong name. I called you Nancy. Do you actually still remember back then? I mean, 5 years old is pretty early to remember details about stuff. Okay, that's the right number. All right. Yeah, I know, Sandy. I just said that a minute ago. You don't need to always repeat. Like you just thought of it or something. All right, cool. So maybe tomorrow I'll get a hold of you like at 1:30 or something, and then we'll set up my StreamYards. Oh yeah? So you actually remember that, huh? Crazy. Awesome. Guess we didn't get to the Delphi recap. That's alright though. Anyways, thanks everybody for being here. Maybe next time don't have the person we're trying to help have to get us to the goal, Jay Lizard, Lisa Noir 23, Kathy Friedenmaker, Tina G, Allie Cake, Michelle H, Mia Wallace again, thank you very much, Lisa Valenzuela, Vicky White, Rosemary Romero, Mike Fitzpatrick, new member, Cheryl Bullock, Jenny and the Summer Day, Allie Cake, Sandy Shirley, Allie Cake, Yvette M. Fox, Kinsman, Sonia, let's see, Kinsman, Esther N., Vicky White, Yvette Fox, Allie Cake, and then My Father's Alibi, who we were covering, basically did 2/3 or a third of the entire night, or more than that. Thank you, 40% really. Appreciate that. And then I gifted 5 memberships because that's what I do when we reach the larger goal. If we make that the low one at 200, then I don't do it. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be cool. So we'll have her come on and she can tell the whole story. All right, anyways, thanks everybody for being here. Sounds like a no-brainer to me, Allison. I don't know what the hell these people are doing. They're just, you know what it is these idiot prosecutors who, I don't think I can win, so I'm not going to do it. Oh, so you just let the guy live a perfect life? Why not give it a shot? I mean, how old is he? Is he still kicking out there? Is he still alive, this guy? And what would he be, 84 or something like that? Yeah, I mean, this is one of those cases that's so obvious. why not give it a shot? And if he's found not guilty, so be it, but you'll know what the truth is, right? But if you don't give it a shot, he's not going to get any justice. So why doesn't somebody, because they don't want their record to be blemished. I'm 42-0, you bastards. Yeah, this guy, I mean, to me, it just seems so cut and dry, so obvious. Because is there another explanation of how her car, after provably being out on the street, ends up in the garage, and then she's found in a bay in a sleeping bag? Okay? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, just that alone is good enough. For me, that's the thing. I have common sense. That's enough factual evidence to prove that he killed her. And the other circumstantial evidence of them going through a divorce and him, she has this diary of chronological information. The daughter, Allison's recollections that he was having her stay over at the uncle's house that night, even though he told Nancy to come pick up Allison. I mean, and the reason that Allison wasn't there is because he was going to kill her. Okay? I mean, you don't even need, there's nothing else you need to try to figure out here. It's that simple. I mean, that's one of the most obvious things I've ever seen. It actually makes me angry that they're still, I mean, you're probably a hell of a lot more angry, but just think about that for a second. Just think about that. She's supposed to pick up, let's see, so let me just do it. Nancy is supposed to pick up Allison on Monday the 9th. However, he calls, and Patrick calls her to say, hey, pick her up on Sunday. But unbeknownst to her, Patrick had Allison stay at the uncle's house. Right? Then Allison shows up and Patrick kills her. Her car's actually out on the street. Then he moves it into a garage. After that, a garage that's underneath the house that he lives in. Yeah, it's just... and then she's found apparently in a sleeping bag that was in the trunk of her own car. How does that happen? How does she end up going to his house with her car in his garage, and then somehow she's in the bay killed, and it's not him? I mean, I think just the circumstances alone absolutely prove that he did this. Okay? And they know that he did it. Now, he's got to live his entire life, and he probably was able to be your father all those years too, right? He raised you and everything, and he definitely didn't have to pay child support now. And it's 9:55 over here where I live. Yeah, I mean, all that, I mean, that's irrelevant, the part about stripping her and stuff like that. I mean, he killed her and he put her in the bay. There's just no doubt about it. What's the doubt part of it? Like, where does somebody go, well, we just can't prove that, and then fill in the blank? There's nothing. He was an abusive, violent father. Yeah, he probably would look at you and think of her, I bet. Her clothes, you mean? Her clothes were found in his home? But his clothes were found in his home. I mean, her clothes. Really? So her clothes were found in his home too? What kind of Keystone Cops are these guys? I mean, that's ridiculous. If I was on a jury and I heard all of these things, I would just go blah, la, 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 after that, because you already got it. Case closed. Right, so okay, so what did police do with that piece of information? The clothes she was wearing, by the people who said, yeah, she's heading over to pick up her daughter, now that clothes is found in the house. I mean, this guy isn't, he's actually kind of an idiot. too. I mean, this is so obvious that he almost like, I mean, look at you. Why would her car be in your garage and you not be the one that killed her? And you didn't report her missing for 3 days after that, or 4. You know, okay, how does that work logically? All right, here comes the garage door. She's opening it up. She's coming in to get Allison, who's not really here because she's over at the uncle's house. Okay, I'm waiting. I'm sitting in the living room. I hear the garage door. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, man. Holy crap. Look at her car's in the garage. Oh, boy. I'll just wait around for 4 days. Then I'll call the cops. But actually, in the meantime, her body was found. So she disappeared on the 8th, and then they hadn't identified her till the 12th. But they basically arrested him the same day. But, I mean, what does an expensive lawyer have to do with anything? This is one of those cases, like, I don't know how a lawyer... See, that's why I hate defense attorneys. Okay? I don't like them, unless you need one yourself. I think they are just scumbags trying to... They're basically the same as... I look at them as the same people who do the spirit boxes. You know, just... Hey! And just selling garbage to a bunch of people. That's what I look at them. Yeah, just unbelievable. Well, the more money you have, the more likely it is that we can get you off. Well, what do you mean? The facts are the facts, you know, sir? Well, if we do... Oh, Jesus. All right, you guys. Thanks for being here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow as well, Allison. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gregor's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking checked ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work.